Is mental illness catchable? It depends on what you mean. If you mean if you can catch it from someone else. On May 31, 2014, Anissa Weirer and Morgan Geyser had led a mutual friend into a forest and stabbed her 19 times. Fortunately, that friend survived. The girls' motives were that they were planning to sacrifice their friend to the fictional character Slenderman in an attempt to become his proxies. By becoming proxies, they thought that they would avoid the chance of their family being attacked by Slenderman. Of course, none of what the girls believed in was true. One of the girls had testified on reasons of insanity, saying that she has schizophrenia. It is believed by some that they had shared delusional disorder. In shared delusional disorder, also known as shared psychotic disorder, a person who is showing delusions who has a close emotional tie to another person, may eventually lead to the other person also believing in the same delusions. Usually, the people have to be extremely close. The dominant one in the relationship is the psychotic one and the passive one is the mentally healthy one, and the two people or group of people affected are socially isolated. It is rare, but there are some cases of it. If some event occurs that would make you develop a mental illness. Yes. It is possible for some traumatic event or a series of traumatic events to trigger a mental illness into developing. I believe this is how most mental illnesses develop. For example, PTSD is caused by a traumatic event that a person is afraid to think about or relive. In PTSD, a person may have a hard time coping with an event that they experienced or witnessed. Can mental illnesses go from generation to generation? Genetics do play a part on who may develop a mental illness later in life, or at least it is suggested by multiple studies. Environmental factors still play a role in whether a person actually gets the mental illness or not. It is also possible that children of mentally ill parents may have a more dysfunctional family, which makes it more likely that that child will also develop a mental illness. Take for instance our family. My grandmother was severely mentally ill but never got any help. She became a teen mom. She was a bitter woman and frequently psychically abused and neglected her children. My grandmother had bipolar, though I am not sure if she had type 1 or type 2 bipolar. Anyway, her eldest son was always stressed out at school and at home. Because he was a bright person, he wanted to show that at school, but he had to take care of all his siblings. He had about 3 by the time he started going to middle school and 4 by high school. My grandmother never took care of her kids because she was either sulking in her room or out partying in her manic episodes. She was quite social. My grandfather never cared about his kids, so never took care of them. My grandmother's oldest son basically raised all his siblings. He cooked, cleaned, and watched them to make sure nothing happened to them. He never got the chance to be a kid. He had later developed a few anxiety disorders as he got older. The rest of my siblings, still abused and neglected by my grandmother and grandfather, had went on to develop both anxiety and depressive disorders. All of this may lead one to believe the dysfunctional family theory. Skip to the next generation. In the next generation we are all pretty alright except for one of us who has depression. I'd say I'm doing so mentally. Our lives were idealistic. We all had better parents but still we aren't doing great mentally, which may hint at some genetic factors.